Welcome to Simply Explained English. I am Lisa.
And I am Eric. If you improve your English easily, this podcast is perfect for you.
So, let's get started and make English learning easy. What are the words today, Eric?
The first word today is logical. Then we will continue with no longer, and to soothe, then window shopping. And the final one is the ball is in your court.
Okay, let's start with the first word.
The first word is logical.
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 Okay, let's explain what logical means. It's an adjective that describes something that makes sense or follows a clear, reasonable thought process.
That's right, Lisa. It might be a bit confusing, but it's very easy. Let me give an example so our followers can understand better. It's logical to bring an umbrella if the weather forecast says it will rain. It means that bringing an umbrella when rain is expected makes sense and is a reasonable action.
Here's another example. It's not logical to go for a swim when there's a thunderstorm.
So, in this example, swimming during a thunderstorm is not a wise idea because it could be dangerous.
Exactly, Eric. Now, let's listen to a short dialogue using our word logical.
I think it's logical to start studying the hardest subject first.
That makes sense. If we start with the hardest, the rest will be easier.
Exactly. It's a logical way to manage our time.
That's a great example, Eric. The word logical here helps us understand that their plan is sensible and well thought out.
Right, Lisa. Using logical is a way to describe something that is reasonable and follows a clear process. It's a useful word when you want to show that a decision or idea makes sense.
Yes, and it's also important to remember that logical can describe not just decisions, but also arguments, explanations, and even people who think clearly and make sense.
Yes, Lisa. What do you think? Is it important to be logical in everyday life?
I think it is, especially when making decisions. Being logical helps you make choices that are good and sensible, but sometimes it's also okay to listen to your feelings. What about you, Eric? Do you think being logical is always the best way?
Well, being logical is important, but as you said, it's also good to balance logic with emotion. Sometimes our feelings can guide us in the right direction too.
I agree. As you said, to find a balance between logic and emotions might sometimes be the best option.
All right, that's all we have time for with our word logical.
Okay, Eric, what is the next word?
The next word we're going to explain is no longer.
No longer.
No longer.
Great. No longer is a very common phrase in English. Can you explain it, Eric?
Sure, Lisa. No longer is a phrase that means something was true in the past, but is not true now. It's the same anymore.
Could you give an example so that our listeners can understand better?
The first example is, she no longer lives in New York. This means that she used to live in New York before, but now she doesn't live there.
Let me give another example. Sarah no longer works at the store since she got a new job. It means that Sarah used to work at the store, but she doesn't work there anymore because she got a new job.
A small grammar point. No longer usually comes before the main verb in a sentence. For example, she no longer works in New York. No longer is placed before work.
Yes, that's important to know. Now, let's give our listeners a short dialogue to see how no longer can be used in a conversation.
Sarah, why aren't you eating your vegetables?
I no longer like broccoli, Mom. Can I have carrots instead?
But you loved broccoli last month. What changed?
I don't know. I just no longer enjoy the taste.
Well, I'm glad you still like some vegetables.
That was a great dialogue. Sarah used our phrase no longer to explain that her taste in vegetables has changed.
Yes, she did. Eric, have you ever stopped liking a food you used to enjoy?
Yes, I have. I no longer like spicy food as much as I used to. How about you, Lisa?
Well, I no longer drink as much soda as I did when I was younger. Do you think our tastes change a lot as we grow up?
I think they do. It's normal for things we like to change over time.
I agree. Our interests and preferences often change. How else can we use no longer in everyday conversations, Eric?
For example, we could say, "This shirt no longer fits me," when clothes become too small.
Good one. Remember, don't forget to put no longer before the main verb. Well, that's all we have time for with our phrase no longer. Let's move on to our next word, Eric.
The next word is soothe.
Soothe.
Soothe. Soothe is a verb, and it means to make someone feel calm, relaxed, or less worried. You can also use soothe when you're talking about making physical pain or feel better. For example, she played soft music to soothe the baby. It means that she played gentle music to help the baby feel calm and stop crying.
That's a good example, Eric. Here's another one. A warm bath can soothe sore muscles. It means that taking a warm bath can help your muscles feel better and less painful. It means that taking a warm bath can help your muscles feel better and less painful.
It's important to note that soothe is often followed by the thing or person. For example, soothe the baby or soothe sore muscles.
Good point, Eric. You can soothe a person, an animal, or even a part of the body that's in pain.
Exactly. Now, let's hear a short dialogue using the word soothe.
I had such a stressful day at work. I need something to soothe my nerves.
Maybe you should try drinking some herbal tea. It might help soothe you.
That's a good idea. I'll make some tea right now to help me relax.
This dialogue is a perfect example of how soothe is used when talking about calming emotions or making someone feel better. It's a word that's useful in many situations, especially when talking about relaxation or comfort.
I agree, Eric. Do you think it's common for people to use soothe in everyday conversations?
I think so, especially when talking about things that help us relax or feel better. It's a gentle word that expresses care and comfort. So Lisa, can you think of something that helps soothe you when you're feeling stressed?
That's a good question. For me, listening to calm music often helps soothe my mind when I'm feeling anxious or stressed. What about you, Eric?
I find that taking a warm bath can be very soothing. It helps me relax both my body and mind.
That sounds nice. It's interesting how different things can soothe different people.
Yes, Lisa, everyone has their own ways of finding comfort. Some like to read a book, some spend time in nature.
Definitely. Well, I think we've covered soothe pretty thoroughly. Shall we move on to our next word?
Yes, let's do that. Our next word is window shopping.
Window shopping.
Window shopping.
Window shopping? That sounds interesting. So, what does window shopping mean?
Window shopping means looking at things in stores without planning to buy them. You're just looking at things in the shop windows or inside the store, but you don't buy anything.
Ah, so it's like when you walk through the mall and you see nice clothes or gadgets, but you don't buy them. You just look.
Exactly. Now, let's give some example sentences to help everyone understand better. The first example is, Sarah went to the mall for some window shopping on Saturday. It means that Sarah went to the mall just to look at the items in the stores, but she didn't plan to buy anything.
Nice. Let me give the second example. I like window shopping because it's fun to see the new products. It means that the person enjoys looking at new items in the stores, even if they don't buy anything.
Yes, exactly. And now, let's talk a little bit about the grammar. Window shopping is a noun phrase. You can use it as the object of a verb like go. For example, I will go window shopping.
That's a good point, Eric. Now, let's move on to a short dialogue using window shopping.
Hey Jane, do you want to buy something today?
Not really, Tom. I just want to do some window shopping.
Oh, that sounds fun. I like window shopping too. Maybe we can see something nice.
Yes, and if we find something really good, we can come back and buy it later.
That was a nice and simple conversation, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Jane didn't want to buy anything today, but she enjoyed looking at the items in the store. What do you think about window shopping, Lisa? Do you like it?
Oh, I love it. It's relaxing to just look at things without the pressure of buying. How about you, Eric?
I like it too, especially when I'm saving money. I can see the new gadgets, but I don't spend anything.
That's true. It's like you're shopping but without spending any money. It's also good when you're with friends, like in our example dialogue.
Yes, window shopping can be a fun activity with friends. You get to see all the new items in the stores, and you can talk about what you like or what you want to buy in the future.
So window shopping is not just looking. It can also be a kind of planning.
That's a good way to look at it, Lisa. Okay, I think that wraps up our explanation of window shopping.
Yes, I hope everyone learned something new today. Okay, let's move on to our last word today.
The last word today is the ball is in your court.
The ball is in your court.
The ball is in your court.
The ball is in your court? That sounds like something to do with sports. But what does it really mean?
Good question, Lisa. The ball is in your court is an idiom. It means that it's now your responsibility to make the next decision or take action.
I see. So, if I'm waiting for someone to make a decision and they say, the ball is in your court, it means I have to decide now?
Exactly, Lisa. For example, I've sent you my proposal, so now the ball is in your court. It means that you've done your part, and now it's the other person's turn to respond or make the next move.
Let me give the second example then. We've made an offer on the house. The ball is in the seller's court now.
Great one. It means that the buyers have made their offer and are now waiting for the seller to decide or respond.
That's right. And now, let's move on to a short dialogue using the ball is in your court.
Mike, I've finished the report. The ball is in your court now.
Thanks, Anna. I'll review it today and let you know if we need any changes. But yes, now the ball's in my court. Got it.
Okay, great. I'll wait for your feedback.
That was a clear and simple dialogue, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Anna finished her part of the work, so she told Mike it was his turn to do something. What do you think about this phrase, Lisa? Do you use it often?
I do use it, especially at work. It's a nice way to tell someone that they need to take the next step.
Yes, I use it too, mostly when I'm talking to my friends or co-workers. It's a polite way to remind someone that it's their turn to make a decision or do something.
I agree, Eric. It's one of those phrases you can use in casual and formal situations. And the good thing is, it's easy to remember because of the sports reference.
Yes, that's right, Lisa.
All right, I think we have reached the end of today's episode. Thank you for listening to Simply Explained English.
We hope you learned something new today. See you next time.
Bye-bye.